I get killed all over YouTube because people say I'm so mean. I mean, are we supposed to coddle everybody? Are we supposed to coddle you for just 10 drinks when you know you're on a freaking probation?
In this gripping courtroom breakdown, tensions rise as a judge confronts a defendant with a harsh dose of reality. From a shocking 0.153 blood alcohol level while on probation to the emotional hammer of personal accountability, every moment challenges how we think about justice. Should judges show more compassion, or is a strict, no-nonsense approach the only way to stop repeat offenders? From brutal honesty to life-changing consequences, this video dives into the judge's intense opening reaction, the shocking BAC reveal, a turning point, emotional moment, a harsh warning about long-term treatment.
The state wants to do a 6-month extension for her to finish her treatment. She's had a couple of positives. I had a chat with her.
I'm not down with that. I'm not down with you just continuing to drink. You're not supposed to. That's the first damn elementary thing of this program is you don't drink. And you're continuing to do it. It's not going to happen. You know, I mean, do we need to put her into an inpatient treatment program?
They're recommending IOP and SOP.
Inpatient, because with DWI-PTI.
Oh, I'll revoke her bond. It'll be free.
Hopefully we don't do that. Judge, can you give her a chance to do the IOP, SOP? I had a chat with her.
You want to keep in this thing? I'm going to put you in inpatient treatment. You're going to go right now. There goes your life. 6 months minimum. And if you're good, 6 months. Right. If you're good, I'm sorry, 6 months. Otherwise, it's a year and a half in custody. No means no. Doesn't mean I've got a party. I've got Jesus telling me to do it. No. How many positives? Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So she completed the DWI education, effective decision-making, and victim impact. On March 12th, she admitted to consuming alcohol. And then on June 20th, she provided a blow of 1.53.
0.153? That's nearly double the legal limit. That's got to be, that's
When the probation officer,
like 8 drinks.
she said she had 10 drinks and she was celebrating her sister's birthday.
No, there's got to be some kind of sanction. No.
Judge, can we do, instead of putting her in inpatient, can we maybe take her in for the weekend and then let her out and go her with?
I'm okay with that. Yeah. And then at that point, I'm going to put an ankle monitor on her.
Can you let her come in? Did you drive here?
Yes.
Can we, her car is gonna get towed, getting her
And
car out
I
of
care
impound.
because
Well, so I know this is not the court's concern. I'm saying my concern for her is that if you take her in right now, her car is gonna go to impound. Her family can take it out because they need a power of attorney. She's gonna come out with over $1,000 in fees only to get her car out. But she will come back.
we continue to cater to everybody. And, you know, I get killed all over YouTube because people say I'm so mean. I mean, are we supposed to coddle everybody? Are we supposed to coddle you for just 10 drinks when you know you're on a freaking probation? Shameful. You ought to be ashamed. That tells me that you either have a problem or you just don't give a shice about us. That's what that tells me, you know? And yet you still want a dismissal of this case. It doesn't work like that, you know?
I don't know if it makes a difference, but I've had her on bond for quite some time. And she's been on the program, she did her classes. If you give her a chance to come back, and if she doesn't do it, then I won't even have anything to stand on or come before you to say anything. And I don't think she will either. And being before you, I think she understands, right, that if she does not take advantage of this opportunity, then that will be the end of that program for her.
Yeah. We're going to have Pavel. So, you know, I'll tell you the only way is 3 days as a condition, and she'll have to turn, I mean, do you have a license? Can you run her license, please? She'll have to do the 3 days. And then as soon as she gets out, immediately she'll get a scram.
Okay.
She'll have to pay for it because I can't pay for it. You know,
Well, since it's a contract with the state, I guess you could drive with the scram.
I want to make sure first she has a license. Okay. Do you have insurance?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Hey, Pavel. Yes. I need you to please amend the contract. And I don't know how, but So this is Miss Ramirez. She's had quite a number of blows, positive.
Okay.
We're amending to do 3 days as a condition. And then she's
PTI.
on the PTI.
Okay.
Well, and then the other issue is that Judge, if you want to put her on a scram, then we need to amend the contract to reflect scram, but allowing her to drive. Because normally the way that it works on your template contract is if she gets a scram, then automatically there's a non-driving affidavit.
Right, no. We'll keep everything as is, but I want to make sure that she's not, at all times, she's not consuming. Whereas here, all she has to do is blow, right? So we'll do the extension, but that's the conditions, right? So 3 days is a condition to begin, I guess, within the next couple days.
So
And
how
then
do you?
upon release, she has to get the scram, and then she has to do IOP and SOP.
How do we do that? The sheriff won't take her in. So if she shows up, if it's a civil contract, we can do in the contract 3 days as a condition, but if she shows at the jail and says, the sheriffs won't take her in because there's nothing in the.
Melissa?
Can she do it, Judge, she's a full-time student, can she do it over the weekend, like go in next Friday and come out on Sunday so she doesn't miss school?
What days are your school? See, I mean, we continue to cater to people. That's all we do here. We cater. It's like,
The only way she can do the 3 days is if you revoke the law. So whenever you want to go in, she has to come in, and then we have to revoke it, and then you have to bond reinstate it whenever you want her to get out.
I just want to make sure that from a practical perspective, we can get it done so she,
if you ever test positive again, you're going to lose 6 months to about 1.5 years of your life. Do you understand me? So if it'll be the best damn party, best damn beer, best damn drink, best damn smoke, whatever it is, you ever test positive again, I'm telling you, inpatient you go, because it really tells me that you have a problem and you're incapable of stopping on your own. So we'll do it for you. That's it. Okay, so I guess let's reset the case between now and what's your school schedule like?
I have class Mondays and Wednesdays, in the morning and the afternoon.
What about Thursdays?
Thursdays, no class.
What about Fridays?
No class.
Okay, well, let's start on Thursday then. Okay, because that way she'll get a bed. Otherwise, she'll be sleeping on the floor. Too many people going in on Fridays. They sleep on the floor, as opposed to if you go in on a Tuesday through Thursday, you get a bed. So we'll have you come back here on Thursday. Can you amend it between now and then?
I've never done that. I'll see if that's even possible.
I don't think-
Anything can happen,
well,
man.
Judge, if.
You know, really.
Judge, if you revoke her bond and she goes into custody, let's say we do Thursday, well, probably better Friday, so we can have her on the docket on Friday and Monday.
Okay,
And then
I'll
we come back
reinstate
on
on Monday.
Monday, you reinstate her, we don't have to amend anything.
all right. Good.
Just so we can kind of,
I understand. Okay,
that's, okay.
Yep. okay.
And then we'll just amend, if you want to do the scram, then they'll just amend that. portion.
I mean, if they tell me that they can't do that, then I'm not going forward. I'm not going to do it because it's not fair that she's out drinking 10 beers or whatever, 10 drinks in one night, and it's a slap to the face and everybody else that actually complies with this thing. No way. I'm not going to do it. So, okay, we'll see you on Friday. So I don't understand why you are still pushing your luck. You were supposed to register immediately upon doing the 3 days as a condition. When did she do the 3 days, please?
September 20th is when she went in. And that Monday, I think you reinstated her, Judge.
Yes, Judge, it was September 20th.
She did, she was released on when, the 21st?
The 23rd. 23rd is when she was released.
Released the 23rd. She was supposed to register immediately, starting the IOP. And what day did she register?
Yesterday.
Says her probation officer told her she had a month.
I told you here what you were supposed to do. I'm tired of playing this game, Andrea.
At least
I'm
she's
tired of playing this
registered.
game. It's like, you know, when this is what happens when you're too nice. It's over and over. People take advantage of you like crazy. It took one 2, 3, 4 weeks for her to sign up for IOP, Andrea. 4 weeks.
Can you, since she's already registered,
No, I mean, I'm done with this. I'm just, what,
let her see if she goes, if she attends? I don't have there's not much that I can say. I don't have much to stand on.
she
But
doesn't take us seriously.
hoping that you will allow, since she's already registered, you'll allow
Let's
her,
do this. Let's do this.
because she has an ankle monitor on. That's on. It's
I'm
on.
gonna send her for a drug test right now. I want to see what if anything that she's gonna test positive for. And then right now, I want to send her for a test. And then I guess we'll talk when she comes back. Because first things first, I want to know if she's clean. If she's not clean, it's over. That's it. But if she's clean, then we'll talk about how we go further.
Did I send her back here?
Yeah.
How long, so I know how to manage everything else that
I
I
have
have?
your cell phone, right?
Yes,
I'll text you when she comes back
okay.
and I don't know. Just take a seat for a minute.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Andrew.
Go to Ms. Ramirez.
Absolutely.
The state position is that follow the recommendation of the
Yes.
probation department either feels A, she's reached a point where they can no longer help her and she needs a higher level of care than the probation department can give her, or B, if the probation department feels that they can still treat her, we follow the recommendation of the probation department, B being Texas.
And there requested a 6-month extension, but her class been on 7 months.
But Judge, if she registered for the classes, there will be completed in 6 months.
I'm not doing a 6-month reset for her to do one class a
We
week.
can bring her to court. We can bring her to court for status updates. I'm 100% on board with that. I think that that's actually a very good idea. But what I'm saying is that the probation department feels that she could be helped with the IOP and SOP. That's my understanding. Please correct me if I'm saying something wrong. My understanding is that probation department feels that they could help her with the IOP SOP. I think that to her defense, nobody told her she needs to register, at least as far as I'm aware, 2 to 3 times a week. So
I
if
told her last time we were here.
now when we approached, because I was with her,
Yes,
Judge.
I told
No, I
her.
was with her and I don't remember you saying that.
I told her what you need to have done, and then this is what you registered for. When you come back, this is what we're gonna end up doing. Regardless, look, regardless.
What I'm saying is, since the probation department feels that they can help her, if she can register to one of the 3, and I'm gonna bring her up here with, if you decide to allow her to continue, I'm gonna bring her up here and we all talk, so everybody's on the same page. If she does it within like a week, not a month like we did last time.
I'm not ever going to reset her for over 2 weeks at a time
And that's
because I
fine.
can't trust anything to happen.
And that's fine.
And Mr. Lindsay, unfortunately, the way it works is that it's unfortunately, like a little child. They push and they push and they push. And it's truly, it's childesque because they push and they push to see how much they can get away with. And as evidenced here, you sign up the day before court.
This is all
It's,
predicated on if the court does not rescind its order for supervision.
what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset her for 1 week. She has 1 week to sign up for the 3-time-a-week course. She needs to come back, show us that she's done that. And then after that, I'm going to set her off 2 weeks. Every single 2
Can I bring her up
weeks.
here? So
Sure.
I want her to be part of the conversation, so if she comes back and she doesn't do, so nobody can, so there's no possibility of saying,
I'm so over this, it's just ridiculous. Come up, Ms. Ramirez. So I will indefinitely set this case off 2 weeks at a time to make sure that it gets done. Because I can't do 4-week resets anymore, unfortunately. So we are now going to have to micromanage just I don't think that this is right. And I don't think that this is fair because it really spits in the face of every single person who does a good job with this program. And what you're doing now is not what this program is designed to do. And it really violates the spirit because this is a program that's supposed to teach you right and wrong, teach you how to act in the free world. And you've done everything against that. I mean, for you to sign up for the class one day before court, it's just, it hurts. And it's shameful. Because when I told you, last time you were here, I told you that I wanted you to sign up immediately after you were done. And you sat there and you waited. Not 1 week, not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So now you've shown me that I can't do long resets on your case. So if you fail one more time, if you ever fail to attend a meeting, if you ever fail to whatever you need to do, you will be out of this program. I will not do this again, and I will immediately set your case for trial. You have 1 week to sign up for the class. That's 3 times a week. And thereafter, you will get 2-week resets every single time to show me that you have attended this class 3 times a week. If you fail to go one of those times in a week, because it's the class is designed for you to go 3 times a week, every week. And if you fail to do that, that's it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Judge, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Judge is asking you to go back to that list that you have and find a place that offers the program 3 times, IOP 3 times a week. What are the requirements? Is SOP once a week or,
But she
okay,
has to complete IOP first.
right. So you have to go back to the list, find a place to register for IOP that does it, that meets 3 times a week. You do IOP, and once you're done with IOP, you find SOP that meets once a week. And you have to
90
have,
days. Okay.
right, and you have to be registered in the IOP that meets 3 times a week by next court setting, which will be in about a week.
Not about exactly a week.
Okay,
from
do I
today.
have it
Next
correct?
Wednesday.
Do I have it correct, Judge? Right, okay, so do you understand that?
Yes.
There's not gonna be another chance. Okay.
State has nothing further, Judge, for the court.
See you in a week.
Thank you, Judge.
This is saying that she was 27 pounds at 10. So if your weight went from 277 down to 100 pounds or 90 pounds, would you go to the doctor? The court is going to call 2023 CR 4168, State of Texas versus James Michael Kennedy. And defense, if you all could move to that end. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Anton Hayek. What did you ask me to do, Jim?
No, I'm asking your name.
Anton Hayek. But
Yeah.
they told me to move one way.
Okay, so Mr. Hayek, for the record, is representing Mr. Kennedy. And are you James Michael Kennedy?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea to the offense of assault intentionally knowing serious bodily injury of a child by omission. You entered a plea to a cap of 35 years in the prison. The state is opposing your application. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
I've had a chance to review it. I've reviewed it with my client and given him an opportunity to read it at his own pace.
All right, any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any
No, Your-
objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, state, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Mr. Kennedy, please.
All right, Mr. Kennedy, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record, please.
My name is James Michael Kennedy.
All right, counsel?
Mr. Kennedy, would you say this event with your daughter finding it out about cerebral palsy and having her removed from your presence because of lack of proper nutrition was a real eye opener to you?
It was.
Okay.
This was.
I'm sorry, could everyone please whisper? And counsel, if you could speak up for me, please.
And during the first 10 years of Michelle's life, did you think there was anything unusual about her not being able to eat solid foods? Well, other than that, she probably should have.
Given her state with cerebral palsy, I didn't know.
And the primary caretaker, Michelle, was Norma, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you live with Norma, you're not married to her.
Yes, sir.
Did Norma ever have any complaints to you about something she wasn't allowed to do for Michelle?
No, sir.
And you've read the report and you're happy with Miss, I can't do her name, Sitsu, the foster mother?
Yes, sir.
And I read you the expert. Do you agree with what she wrote?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And do you want the best for your daughter?
I do, yes, sir.
And you've had a hearing in CPS court on Valentine's Day where you gave an affidavit of relinquishment of your parental rights?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. So do you feel sorry for what you either did or failed to do for your daughter?
At the time, I wasn't aware, but yes, I do.
Okay. You realize the judge is probably going to send you to prison.
Yes, I do.
Are you asking for something maybe in the 20-year range as opposed to 35?
I am asking for leniency.
Okay. No further questions. That's a prosecutor. You may want to ask you something.
All right, in just a moment, my email went down. I did have the PSI report up, but the PSI report has disappeared on my system. All right.
Yes, sir, just a few if I may. Mr. Kennedy, my name is Zach Dunn. I'm one of the prosecutors in the Family Violence Division. I should have a few questions for you, and some of it goes to your statements in the PSI, which is the report that the judge is looking at right now. You basically mentioned on kind of the last page of it that you really kind of didn't know or were unsure of the fact. You said you had ignorance of your daughter's condition. She was diagnosed with cerebral palsy at birth, though, correct?
I do not know.
With respect to her abilities, things she was able to do, did you notice any kind of comparison between her and other 10-year-olds?
The comparison between her and when I was going through high school, I noticed that there was children that were similar.
And are you aware of how much she weighed as a 10-year-old when the police came to the residence for the first time?
I believe she was at 27 pounds, but I can't remember.
27 pounds as a 10-year-old. Does that seem normal to you or abnormal to you?
I do not know. I mean, when I remember how there were others that were her age, more or less, even, and when I was going through high school, I saw that they were about her size.
You're saying when you went through high school personally?
When I went through high school,
you knew of 10-year-olds that were around 20 pounds in weight, or?
we went to the kitchen cafeteria, and I saw others that were rolled around in wheelchairs that were about the same size.
And what did you make of the fact that Michelle, again, a 10-year-old, was unable to speak and barely even move when the police first interacted with her coming on scene? Is that normal behavior, you think, for a 10-year-old?
I think given that she had cerebral palsy, that it was normal.
And with respect to her diet, do you think it's appropriate to feed someone Oreos, milk, and Kool-Aid to sustain their life as a 10-year-old with cerebral palsy?
Michelle could not eat solid, so she couldn't even eat Oreos.
Okay, but at the time, does it surprise you, or is it surprising to hear now that y'all's statements at the time on scene was that, again, you fed her Kool-Aid, milk, and Oreos?
At that time, given that Norma was taken to her that the doctors were aware of what was going on, I thought everything was okay. Given that now I know that it's not okay, because that could have all been avoided with the surgery of a G-tube, gastrostomy tube.
You said you know about that now.
I do.
So if police had never come and CPS was never involved, what do you think the future of Michelle's life would look like? Again, at the time she weighed 27 pounds as a 10-year-old. That was a few years ago.
Well, she did lose a lot of weight due to her being sick. It wasn't due to lack of us providing nutrition. It was due to her being sick that she lost weight.
No further questions, Ron.
All right,
That's
any
it, John.
follow-up?
No follow-up,
All right, may I
Right.
ask a question?
please.
All right, why was she never placed back in school?
When she was originally taken out of school due to the coronavirus.
All right, and then after
when
that?
we attempted to take her back to school, she could never keep the mask on. She would keep constantly pulling it off. And they told her to no longer go back to school.
I'm sorry, what?
They told her not to go back to school until she could take care of that.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the trial court certification form. Just 1 second. I'll have it. All right, so you're saying that they didn't allow her to come back to school because she continued to pull off her mask?
Yes, ma'am.
And the offense date on this is 2023. So help me, in 2023, were students still required to wear a mask?
I do not know, Your Honor.
All right, so you didn't take her back to school in the year of 2023.
No, Your Honor.
And I read the PSI report, and it said that you had personal insurance.
I did. Oh, I did.
All right, so at that time you had personal insurance, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
How often had she seen a doctor?
I believe the last time she saw the doctor was in 2020, and I believe it was on a either annual or dual-annual checkup. I left that all to Norma to take care of.
All right, so the last time she saw a doctor was in 2020.
Yes, I believe so.
Did your wife, Norma, have the insurance card to take her to a doctor?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so
No,
you
it's
had
not
the,
his wife, they just live together.
all right, so the person you lived with, were you in a romantic relationship with them?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And were you all living together as boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and so you left her in charge of taking care of your child?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is she the biological mother of that child?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you didn't give her your insurance card to take her to the doctor for emergencies?
I never was issued one. Everything was done electronic.
All right, so since 2020, you never took your child to the hospital, emergency rooms, or to see a pediatrician?
Personally, I do not know what Norma has done.
All right, did you ever ask her, hey, she's not eating right, something's going wrong? Have you taken her to the doctor?
This will actually all happen recent, like because she got sick because of everything that happened. We took her to the hospital to Christus Santa Rosa at first. And
When was that? Was that in 2023?
yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm talking about before 2023. Unless, and if I'm wrong, correct me. And I won't take offense to you correcting me. It appears that this is something that was happening over time. Am I right? The fact that she's not gaining weight, she's not eating?
No, Your Honor. The way we were giving her nutrition over the time period from her birth until the time that she got sick was the same constant method.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden she gets sick and she lost the weight.
So what was her highest weight? Because this is saying that she was 27 pounds at 10. So before she started dropping all of the weight, what was her weight as a 10-year-old?
I believe it was either at 40 or 45 pounds.
So 45 pounds, and then all of a sudden she's at 27 pounds.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you didn't think to take her to the doctor when she dropped down to 30 pounds?
I would be at work, so when I would come home, I'd always want to try to sleep or relax just before sleeping.
All right, and how far did you go in school?
For school, I graduated from St. Philip's College.
Okay.
I got my certificates for aircraft and power plant.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, defense?
No, Your Honor.
State, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will hear argument. The state is opposed to the application. State?
Your Honor, this is an individual that essentially the state doesn't believe has taken responsibility. The litany of I don't knows and I'm not sure doesn't replace the fact that you're talking about a 10-year-old who had, as the medical facility diagnosed her with, quote, extreme prolonged malnourishment. 10-year-olds are somewhere in the range of above 70 pounds. This is a 27-pound individual who, through the defendant's own words, was fed Oreos, Kool-Aid, and milk. As if being a child wasn't a vulnerable enough position to be in the world, to be diagnosed with cerebral palsy at birth and have parents that don't take you because their insurance quote has expired and knew about first they knew about the diagnosis, but then they didn't know about the diagnosis, as they later said. The state would, of course, respectfully request that, the court take all these factors into consideration, given how this person completely disregarded the health of a young girl for many years on end, Your Honor.
All right, defense.
This case has a certain horribleness factor, especially to me as a parent. I can't imagine not feeding your child, and this is my second sentencing on this crime in a week. So I didn't know that many people weren't feeding their child. In representing my client, he's basically been clueless. I had a very difficult time getting to him to understand what he did or did not do and what he should not have done. That doesn't condone what happened to his daughter. One thing I don't understand is how she went to healthcare providers and no one noticed anything, especially on the day in which she was taken to a healthcare provider a second time, and that's when she was taken into police custody, CPS custody. Okay, and you have terminated your parental rights, is that correct, sir?
Yes.
That's it, Your Honor.
All right, one final question. So what were you eating?
I would eat out a lot.
Okay. And did your weight ever drop at normally low?
No, Your Honor.
And how much did you weigh?
Before I was at 277.
All right, so if your weight went from 277 down to 100 pounds or 90 pounds, would you go to the doctor?
I would find out what's going on, yes.
Okay. All right, the court is going to deny your application. The court will find you guilty. I understand that there may have been other issues at play here as far as maybe the mother was in charge of taking care of your daughter and during the day-to-day. So I am taking that into consideration. I'm going to sentence you to 34 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with the complainant. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Judge.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Kennedy, I understand that you're probably hurt by what happened to your daughter. I do understand that. But children are 100% dependent upon adults. They're dependent on them to feed them. They're dependent on them to clothe them and for them to be educated. And you can't say your responsibility, I'm just outside working, somebody else is taking care of my daughter and I'm not noticing anything. You understand?
I understand, Your Honor. And I wish I did really know what was going on. Like when CPS came by, my caseworker, she gave me all this paperwork
Mhm.
and I was reviewing it. It was at that moment that I understood
Okay.